So what you should understand so far is that we have one target in our array of 5. Okay. You should understand that this target 0 is the red one that's at the point 100, 100, which is about right there, and it has a radius of 50. So from here to there is 50, from here to there is 50, from here to there is 50, etc. And then when I draw the world, I'm also drawing that target. You guys okay so far? Okay, let's go ahead and make another target. So let's make another target, and I'm just going to make mine at 400, 250, and let's say a radius of 20, and color is green. Okay, what do I have to do to make that target show up? So in other words, if I run this, I still just have that one red target. So what do I need to do to make it show up? Yeah. So I got to go down here, and I got to say, make targets 1, also draw. So if I run that again, now I have 2 targets, one that's red and one that's green. Okay? So you can imagine, like, maybe we have, we only have 5 targets, but if we had like 100 targets or whatever, we wouldn't want to put in here target 0 draw, target 1 draw, target 2 draw, target 77 draw, target 98 draw, right? We wouldn't want to have to put all of those in. So that's why we would use a loop down here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is right now I'm going to comment out my draw code, and instead we're going to do int index equals 0, and while index is less than targets.length, we're going to tell each of those targets that we want it to draw. Part of the while loop is that we want to make the index go to the next index. Okay, should be used to that by now. So let me just tell you that this right now is a problem, okay? Or it's going to be a problem when I run this. And I'll try to explain why that's a problem in a second, okay? But if you got this in there, you should be able to run it. Okay, so this is the problem that I was just telling you about. All right, let me go back. So it did draw those 2 in there, but then it also made this big error message show up. And this big error message says that there's a null pointer exception. So we've talked about null pointer exceptions before. Let's just go ahead and talk about what just happened. All right. So far what I have, let's see if I can get this over here. So far what I have is, because of this line right here, I have an array of 5 target objects that I'm calling targets. Okay, each of those elements has its own index. All right, and because of this code right here, I'm saying there is a target right there. Okay, and there is a target right there in indexes 0 and 1. Is that making sense so far? What's in index 2 right now? Nothing. Okay, and the way that we say nothing in programming is null. Good. So right now this is null. All 3 of these elements are null. And so when I go through this loop and I start index at 0, then it checks here to say if index is less than targets.length. What is targets.length? 5, right? There's 5 elements in there. So is 0 less than 5? Is that true or false? True. So it's saying then go ahead and take targets 0 and tell it to draw. Okay? Well, that's fine because there's target 0 and tell it to draw. That's the red one. Okay? Index equals index plus 1 makes index equal to 1. Is 1 less than 5? Yep. So targets at 1, tell it to draw. Okay? There's a target there, so that's fine. That's the green one. Go to the next index. The next index is 2. 2 less than 5 is true. Tell this thing to draw. I can't tell null to draw. All right? So, because it doesn't make any sense. Tell something that doesn't exist to draw. Don't know how that would get done. All right? So what we want to do is we want to make sure that before I tell it to draw, it's not null. Okay? So we're going to say if targets at index is not equal to null, then tell it to draw. Okay? So we're adding that code in front of that draw statement. So once I do that, what did I do now? That must be something different here. I don't know what just happened. But anyway, it should be fixed so that now when I run this thing, it creates my 2 targets. It only tries to draw the 2 that are not null. Okay, so let's go ahead and make some more targets up here. So let's make targets 2. All the way up to targets 4 here. And I'm going to come back up here and just add in some stuff here. So equals a new target. If you want to copy and paste stuff, you certainly can, guys. I'm just going to make this thing at 150, 400, 35, and then cyan. Make this guy a new target at, let's go 300, 0. This is a big target. Make that one black. And then a new target here. I don't know, this thing got kind of formatted funny. I'll fix that in a second. 250, 250. A small target there right in the middle. Make that guy yellow. Alright. Alright, so now I get these 5 targets in there. Okay. The question was, could we replace put this in this line and just get rid of the if, basically, right? So that would be good, except for if I did something like this, which maybe would be kind of silly to do. But if I said, I want targets 0, 2, and 4 to be something, but 1 and 3 are null, okay? Then as soon as I hit one that's null, that loop is going to end if I do it your way. Okay? So that's why it's a good idea to just loop through all of them and check to see if they're null. Okay, that's a good question. Alright. And I'm just going to put a little comment in here. Loops through all targets and draws non-null targets.